Story 1. In the quiet town of Willowbrook, nestled deep within the forested heart of Oregon, there stood a restaurant that was as famous for its eerie ambience as it was for its exquisite cuisine. The Whispering Pines was its name, a place where patrons willingly traded the comfort of the everyday for an otherworldly dining experience. Many whispered legends surrounded this establishment, tales of strange occurrences and unsettling encounters. It was said that those who dined there were forever changed, their souls marked by the secrets that dwelled within its dark, pine-scented walls. One crisp autumn evening, as the leaves outside turned shades of fiery orange and crimson, a group of friends decided to test their mettle and pay a visit to the Whispering Pines. Alex, the adventurous skeptic, led the way, accompanied by Sarah, a lover of all things mysterious, Mike, the fearless daredevil, and Lisa, the quiet and cautious observer. Together, they ventured into the restaurant, unaware of the sinister events that would soon unfold. As they crossed the threshold, a shiver ran down their spines. The interior was dimly lit, the only sources of illumination being the flickering candlelight that cast eerie shadows across the aged wooden beams. The walls were adorned with taxidermy animals, their glassy eyes seeming to follow the visitors as they were led to their table by a somber, hooded figure who never uttered a word. "Are you sure about this place, Alex?" Lisa asked, her voice quivering. Alex chuckled, trying to hide his unease. "Come on, Lisa. It's all just theatrics. They want us to feel spooked. It's part of the charm." Their menu arrived, an ancient, leather-bound tome filled with cryptic descriptions of dishes that seemed straight out of a nightmare. Sanguine stew, banshee's breadcrumbs, and spectral souffle were among the offerings. Despite their reservations, they ordered a variety of dishes, eager to partake in the macabre feast. As they awaited their meal, the unsettling atmosphere continued to encroach upon them. Faint whispers floated through the air, indiscernible yet unmistakable. Sarah's curiosity got the better of her, and she rose from her seat to investigate the source of the sound. She approached a dark corner of the restaurant where an ornate mirror hung, its surface marred with age. Sarah's reflection seemed to shimmer and warp, taking on a grotesque skeletal appearance. She stumbled back, her heart racing, and rejoined her friends at the table. "I saw something," she stammered, her face pale. Mike laughed nervously. "This place sure knows how to mess with your head." Their food arrived, and the group tentatively began to eat. The dishes, while bizarre in appearance, were surprisingly delicious, each bite sending shivers down their spines. The flavors were unlike anything they had ever experienced, a mix of sweet and savory, tinged with an unsettling aftertaste. As the meal progressed, the whispers in the air grew louder, forming words and phrases that sent a chill through their souls. "Leave while you can, beware the shadows," and "this place hungers" echoed in their ears. Panic began to set in, but none of them wanted to admit their fear to the others. Suddenly, the room grew colder, and a thick fog crept in from nowhere, obscuring their vision. The candle flames flickered wildly, casting eerie dancing shadows on the walls. Lisa reached for her phone, hoping to use its flashlight to pierce the darkness, but it refused to turn on. The hooded figure reappeared, this time standing at the head of their table, its face still hidden in the shadows of its hood. With a skeletal hand, it pointed to an empty chair at the end of the table. The friends exchanged nervous glances, realizing that there were only 4 of them, and the 5th chair was meant for someone or something else. Who are you?" Alex finally managed to stammer. The figure remained silent, its presence sending waves of dread through the group. The whispers in the air grew more urgent, their words now a cacophony of warning. The mirror in the corner began to ripple like water, and a ghastly hand reached out, grasping the edge of the glass. Slowly, a ghostly figure emerged, a spectral reflection of the group themselves. The friends watched in horror as their doppelgangers, clad in tattered clothing and eyes filled with despair, approached their table. The hooded figure gestured to the empty chair once more, and the ghostly duplicates took their seats. The room grew colder still, and the whispers grew louder, forming a sinister chant. In unison, the spectral figures spoke, their voices a chilling echo of their own. "You have tasted our food, felt our presence, and heard our warnings. Now you must make a choice." Alex's voice quivered as he asked, "What choice?" "To stay or to go," they replied. "If you stay, you will become one with this place, forever bound to its secrets. If you go, you will forget all that has transpired here, but you will carry the weight of what you have witnessed in your hearts." The friends exchanged one last desperate look. Then, with trembling voices, they made their decision. They chose to leave, to forget the horrors of the Whispering Pines, and to bear the burden of their experience in silence. As they exited the restaurant, the fog dissipated, and the temperature returned to normal. They found themselves standing in the crisp autumn night, the restaurant's facade dark and foreboding. Without a word, they walked away, their memories of that night slowly fading like a dream upon waking. In the days and weeks that followed, they tried to move on with their lives, but they could never truly forget the Whispering Pines. The taste of its otherworldly cuisine haunted their palates, and the whispers of that eerie night lingered in their ears, a constant reminder of the choice they had made. And so, the legend of the Whispering Pines endured, a place where reality blurred with the supernatural, where choices had consequences, and where the line between the living and the dead was as thin as a whisper on the wind. Story 2. Years had passed since that fateful night at the Whispering Pines. The friends had tried to move on with their lives, burying the memories of the eerie restaurant deep within their minds. They had each pursued their own paths, forging new careers and building families, yet a sense of unease always lingered beneath the surface. One cold winter's evening, a letter arrived at each of their homes, bearing the same mysterious seal. A twisted pine tree with roots that seemed to reach into the depths of the earth. Inside each envelope was an invitation, written in ornate script that sent a shiver down their spines. It was an invitation back to the Whispering Pines. They couldn't believe their eyes. The restaurant had been closed and abandoned for years, a place of nightmares they'd vowed never to return to. But the letters were undeniable, and they were compelled by an unseen force to accept the invitation. Gathering together once more, the friends drove to the outskirts of Willowbrook. The road leading to the Whispering Pines had changed, now overgrown with thorns and thistles, as though it had been untouched by human hands for centuries. The forest seemed darker, the pine trees more twisted, and an unsettling silence hung heavy in the air. As they approached the restaurant, they were met with a shocking sight. The once decrepit building had been fully restored, its windows gleaming with an otherworldly light. The facade was pristine, as though it had been plucked from a forgotten era, and the twisted pine tree emblem was etched into the polished wooden door. Hesitating for a moment, the friends entered the restaurant, their footsteps echoing through the empty dining area. It was as though time had stood still within those walls. The dim, flickering candles still cast eerie shadows. The taxidermy animals remained motionless, and the menu, though slightly different, was eerily familiar. A hooded figure emerged from the shadows, its skeletal hand gesturing to their table. "Welcome back," it intoned in a hollow voice. Sarah, the most curious of the group, finally spoke up. What is this place? How is it even possible? The hooded figure inclined its head slightly, acknowledging her question. The Whispering Pines exists outside the confines of time and space. It is a place that draws those who have experienced its secrets back to its embrace. You made a choice to leave, and yet here you are again. As they sat down, a sense of déjà vu washed over them. The whispers in the air began anew, their words filled with a sense of urgency. "You have returned," they hissed, "for another choice awaits you." Their hearts raced as they realized that the same decision they had once faced was before them once more. Stay or go, become part of the restaurant's haunting legacy, or carry the burden of their memories in silence. Alex spoke up, his voice trembling with uncertainty. "What happens if we stay this time?" The figure's hood seemed to deepen in shadow, making its face even more inscrutable. "If you stay, you will become a part of the Whispering Pines, forever tied to its mysteries and its haunting ambiance. You will be bound here, an eternal patron." They glanced at each other, the weight of their previous choice hanging over them like a shroud. The memories of their earlier visit were still fresh, and they knew that staying would be a profound and irreversible decision. Mike, ever the daring one, decided to ask a different question. "What if we choose to leave again?" The figure's skeletal hand gestured to the mirror in the corner, the same mirror that had once revealed their spectral duplicates. It rippled once more, and this time it displayed a scene of chaos and darkness, a world engulfed in turmoil and despair. "You will return to your world," the figure explained, "but it will not be the same. The choice to leave again will have consequences beyond the Whispering Pines. Your world will be forever altered by the darkness that looms." The friends exchanged uneasy glances, realizing the gravity of their decision. They could choose to stay, becoming a permanent part of the enigmatic restaurant, or they could leave, knowing that their world would be forever changed. After a long, intense silence, Sarah spoke up, her voice filled with determination. "We can't let this place control us any longer. We've already carried its secrets for years. We have to leave." The figure nodded, as though it had expected their decision. "Very well. The choice has been made." As they exited the restaurant, the fog once again enveloped them, and they found themselves standing outside in the cold winter night. The restaurant's facade had crumbled before their eyes, revealing the abandoned, decrepit building they remembered. They had made their choice, and the Whispering Pines had released its hold on them. But as they walked away, they couldn't help but feel that something had changed. The world around them seemed slightly distorted, as though reality itself had shifted. They knew that they had brought something back with them, a darkness that would forever be a part of their lives. And so, the friends went their separate ways once more, each carrying the weight of their choice and the knowledge that the Whispering Pines would forever be a part of their existence. They had escaped its grasp, but the restaurant's haunting legacy would continue to haunt their dreams and shape their destinies, a reminder that some choices could never truly be left behind. Story 3. Years passed, and the memories of the Whispering Pines had faded to whispers in the back of their minds. The friends had moved on with their lives, their careers, and their families. But the darkness that had always clung to them grew stronger with time, an unseen weight that burdened their souls. One fateful day, a stranger arrived in Willowbrook. He was a tall man with piercing blue eyes and an air of enigmatic authority. He introduced himself as Dr. Jonathan Blackwood, a renowned paranormal investigator. He had heard whispers of the Whispering Pines and its eerie mysteries and had come to investigate. Dr. Blackwood's inquiries led him to the former patrons of the restaurant. the friends who had faced its terrors and made choices that would forever shape their lives. He tracked them down one by one, explaining his mission and the urgency of his investigation. "We all made the choice to leave," Lisa said, her voice trembling as she recounted their encounter with Dr. Blackwood to the group. "But what if we made the wrong choice? What if there's something more to the Whispering Pines than we ever knew?" The group gathered at Sarah's home, where they debated whether to assist Dr. Blackwood in his investigation or to continue living their lives, ignoring the lingering darkness that clung to them. Mike, always the most daring, spoke first. "Maybe it's time we face our fears and find out the truth about that place. If there's something we missed, something that still haunts us, we need to confront it." Alex nodded in agreement. "I've always wondered if we made the right choice that night. Maybe it's time we set things right." Sarah, ever curious, added, "And if we can help Dr. Blackwood uncover the secrets of the Whispering Pines, we might finally find closure." Reluctantly, Lisa gave her consent, though her unease was evident. "But promise me that we'll be careful. We don't know what we're dealing with." The group met with Dr. Blackwood, who outlined his plan to investigate the mysteries of the Whispering Pines. He had discovered that the restaurant had a long history dating back centuries and was linked to strange occurrences and disappearances in Willowbrook. It was rumored to be a place where the veil between the living and the dead was at its thinnest. Their first step was to revisit the abandoned restaurant, where they hoped to uncover clues that would shed light on its sinister past. Armed with cameras, recording devices, and a sense of trepidation, they returned to the once familiar place. To their surprise, the building had undergone yet another transformation. The exterior was now immaculate, and the interior, though still dimly lit, seemed more inviting than eerie. As they explored the restaurant, they discovered hidden chambers beneath the main dining area, rooms filled with old books, dusty manuscripts, and cryptic symbols etched into the walls. It was clear that the Whispering Pines held secrets beyond their wildest imagination. Their investigation took them deeper into the mysteries of the restaurant. Dr. Blackwood theorized that the Whispering Pines was a place of power, a portal to another realm. The choices made by those who dined there could have far-reaching consequences, not just for the patrons but for the entire town of Willowbrook. One evening, as they delved into the restaurant's history, they uncovered a manuscript that spoke of a ritual, a way to unlock the true potential of the Whispering Pines. It involved a group of individuals making a collective choice, a choice that would bind them to the restaurant and grant them access to its hidden knowledge. The group hesitated. They had already made one choice years ago, one that had set them free from the restaurant's grasp. But now, faced with the possibility of unlocking its secrets, they couldn't help but be drawn in by the allure of the unknown. Dr. Blackwood, however, urged caution. "We mustn't rush into this," he warned. "There are dangers we can't fully comprehend. The Whispering Pines is a force beyond our understanding." As they debated their next move, they were startled by a voice that seemed to emanate from the very walls of the restaurant. "You have returned," it whispered, the words sending a shiver down their spines. The friends exchanged fearful glances, realizing that the Whispering Pines was not done with them yet. The restaurant had called them back, and now it seemed it demanded their choice once more. "You hold the key to our salvation. We are bound to this place, trapped between worlds. You can release us, but only if you make the ultimate choice." The group was torn. They could choose to leave, to escape the clutches of the Whispering Pines once more, or they could choose to perform the ritual and unlock the restaurant's secrets, potentially releasing the trapped spirits within. As they deliberated, Dr. Blackwood reminded them of the consequences of their choices. Whatever you decide, there will be no turning back. The Whispering Pines has the power to change the course of your lives and the fate of this town. After a tense discussion, they made their decision. They chose to perform the ritual, to unlock the secrets of the Whispering Pines and free the spirits trapped within its walls. They couldn't bear the thought of leaving the restaurant in its current state, a place of darkness and despair. As they completed the ritual, the restaurant seemed to come alive, its walls pulsating with energy, and the whispers in the air growing louder, more urgent. Suddenly, a blinding light enveloped them, and they felt themselves transported to a different realm, a place of swirling mists and ethereal beauty. The spirits of the Whispering Pines surrounded them, their faces filled with gratitude and relief. "You have released us," they whispered, their voices harmonizing like a haunting melody. "We are free at last." The friends watched in awe as the spirits ascended into the heavens, their forms dissolving into shimmering light. The restaurant, once a place of darkness, now radiated with an otherworldly glow. As they returned to the earthly realm, they realized that their choice had not only freed the spirits but also lifted the darkness that had clung to them for so long. They had found closure and a sense of peace that had eluded them for years. Dr. Blackwood nodded in satisfaction. The Whispering Pines is no longer a place of fear and dread. It is a place of redemption and release. With their mission accomplished, the friends left the restaurant one final time, knowing that they had made the right choice. Not just for themselves, but for the restless spirits that had been trapped within its walls. The Whispering Pines had finally found its peace, and so had they.